I got a call on Christmas telling me that I would be accepted with scholarship, and this is one of the greatest moments ever.
Time was open-ended, melodies were sung. You and I were newlywed and blissfully young. Don't let me forget how happy we once were. Don't let me forget the summer.
Florence Birdwell. Florence Birdwell was, when I was 5 years old, Susan Powell was Miss America, and I lived in Elk City, Oklahoma, where she was from, and she took voice lessons from the Bird Lady, as I called her, and so I thought, well, I just want to be just like that. So I always intended to at least think about finding OCU and finding that woman, and I did. And when the school matched up to the teacher as well, I decided to go there. By the time I got to OCU, there was another girl who was breaking in New York, Kristen Chenoweth, in amazing ways. And all that does is make you dream. When I came to school, I was really, as a lot of kids are, if you're singing at all when you're in high school, you're very set in your ways. So I thought I knew what I was doing. Fall semester was very difficult for me, but then everything started to kind of fall together, and I got my first part in my first show that fall, which was an opera, and that's where it all started. I was bit. Those are huge moments and memories for me. When I did the Queen of the Night in the Magic Flute, when I did Lily in Carnival, when I sang in the huge Christmas concert choirs, when all my friends are surrounded and the whole chapel's filled with people, and you learn how to make music with people, not just by yourself. I had such good relationships with my teachers. I chose my work study was with them. I work studied in their offices so that I could get to know them. It was my first experience of deciding that adults were going to be friends too. It was that experience when I made friends with my teachers, because it's different in high school and junior high and elementary school. They became my friends, and they've continued to be my friends. And not only friends on the outside, but because you're friends, as they were teaching me the things I needed to learn, it was fun. I can't talk enough about how I just developed a new family. I developed something that gave me the backbone to be able to move away from everything I loved and everything I knew. I never would have been able to do that had I not, in those 4 years, grown a support system and a spine to say, I'm educated enough now, I've had enough experience now, I have enough confidence in myself now to get on a plane with 2 suitcases and say, here I am, 4 billion people, I'm going to take you by storm. And that came from school. I wasn't ready when I left home. I was ready when I left college. And those 4 years at OCU created that spine for me. Now I look back and you think, oh, I'm from Oklahoma. People say, oh, you must have been the big fish in the small pond. I wasn't at OCU at all. I've had some success in New York, which is really great and surprising, because at OCU I was very much among people that I had to strive to work harder, to be up next, to be up with. I didn't always make all the shows. I remember not getting cast in The Music Man, and I didn't get cast in several shows. And there were many, many talented people surrounding me, making me feel like I needed to be up to the challenge all the time. My fiance says to me, is there something in the water down there? Because everybody I meet on the sidewalk, it'll be someone who's in another Broadway show. And I'll say, how's the show going? And we'll talk, and then we'll walk off, and he'll say, well, who is that? And I say, well, one of my college buddies. Oh my gosh, that's the 35th OCU person that you've introduced me to that's in another Broadway show. And so there's a huge family of people up there.
There was a woman who loved a man. He was the one that she took poison for.
Adam Gettle, who wrote Piazza, was so obsessed with the kind of vocal quality and knowledge. I don't mean to be tooting my own horn, but that, and he knows Kristen as well, and he started to become obsessed with that, and he wanted to know basically what was in the water at OCU again. I go back to that. And so he came down with me one time, and he had a voice lesson himself with Mrs. Birdwell, and then he had Mrs. Birdwell come to Chicago to work with people in the Light in the Piazza, because he felt like there was a knowledge there that the music of tomorrow that he wants to write, carrying it on from his grandfather, the way he wants to go, sounds like we sound from OCU. And that made me very proud. He wanted to, he just thinks a great deal about OCU and about Mrs. Birdwell and about what we learned here and how we approach music, which is different than a lot of kids coming up these days. We approach music as musicians, and we read the music. We don't carry around our tape recorders all the time, and it impresses people. It really does. I'm very proud of that. Oh no, I don't need to. Just hand it to me. Let me look at it. Or I'll plunk it out on the piano a little bit if I can, and they really like that. You get hired for that. They decide that makes them confident that you're gonna respect their music, and so I'm very proud of that in New York. I think that's what's maybe set me apart a little bit. You're only who you are. You're a person, and you walk down the same streets and you eat, and you don't change really. So it feels strange to I just worked with the great summer program that's going on right now. So many kids, and so exciting, and from all ages, there, and it was making me blush the way they were acting, and it hits you once in a while. And instead of going, I guess there are people out there that say, well, of course, but I don't know who they are, because I certainly say, what do you mean? I'm just like you. I was just doing what you're doing, and I still am inspired by so many people in New York and around the country and back here, back home, that I still have that same thought. So it's funny to me that people would feel that way. But then you have to, because of that, you have to put on the added attention of live right, do well, work hard, be a good example. If someone's looking at you, you better look good, or you better make the right choices. And so there's a pressure there, but it's a wonderful kind of pressure. It keeps you in line.
Tonight, it all began tonight. I saw you and the world went away. Tonight, there's only you tonight. What you are, what you know, what you say. We're here.